Season 5 is officially here. It's the Daytona 500 weekend. New drivers, new schedule, new schemes, all three series taking on this 2.5 mile super speedway here this weekend. If you missed any of the off-season activities, you can watch the last episode, the off-season video that goes over all the new schemes, the new changes with rosters, as well as the new calendar. We're coming in as a new, of course, team for myself with Junior Motorsports, as you see, defending Cup champ Christopher Bell, as I'm behind the wheel of the number 8 Cadillac with the Target branding on our JRM machine, alongside my teammates of Noah Gregson and Carson Hocevar. Now, as we had some news to share of our own coming into this weekend, and I kept this a secret until now. We have started an Xfinity Series team called Northern Lights Racing, giving my kind of Canadian branding to the team that you'll see on track all season long in the Xfinity Series, with me behind the wheel this weekend in Daytona and other drivers behind the wheel as the season goes on. So we're not competing for a driver championship, but we are competing for a team championship. As in qualifying as usual, we qualified last year from Daytona. Nothing's ever going to really change in that department. I didn't even bother putting in an actual lap. As you see, the rest of the qualifying order, all the new number cards are officially modded in, so we don't need to rely on custom graphics anymore. As you see, the top 10, and on pole is Christian Eckes in the number 6 alongside Chandler Smith. Eckes replacing the retiring Kozlowski, who's in this race for Rick Ware Racing. Friday night truck series action. We are in the Nice Motorsports number 45 truck. Of course, now that we're in the Chevrolet camp, have to jump ship in all the series. So we're racing for Nice this season in the few races that we are eligible for as a Cup Series, and now veteran, of course, with 4 complete seasons under our belt, and really excited to kick off this season 5 with the new manufacturer, of course, GM, making that switch over to Cadillac. It's going to be really exciting to see how that car is going to be able to perform in the opening races specifically. I mean, of course, the season starts with 2 back-to-back super speedways in the Cup Series with the Daytona 500, then we go to Atlanta, which now races like a super speedway for the first time in NASCAR Heat 5. A bit of a slow start to stage 1, but we would catch the pack and get back up with these guys here. You're going to see some new drivers on the grid, as well as some familiar names as well. Cam Waters, he's in the field tonight, but only as a part-time driver. After making the Final 4 in the Truck Series as a full-time competitor last season, he's putting his focus back towards supercars after 1 full season, and however has shown up for this race here in Daytona. I expect to see him in a couple of other races as the season continues on. So at the very end here of stage number 1, getting to the inside, making some moves here on the back of Marco Andretti in the number 27, as we'll look to the inside 3 wide down this front straightaway, but it was Doug Barnes Jr. coming through to win stage number 1. Stage 2, we were going to be restarting in the 27th position. As you can see, some of the names there on your list. A few rookies, of course. Isabello Robusto, one of the notables in the field. That is a rookie. Jake Garcia as well. Definitely going to be interesting to see this rookie class, and it's going to be hard to get an idea of where everyone stacks up until really race 3 of the season, especially in the Cup Series with the 2 super speedways now. As here we are in stage 2, we had climbed up to P16 as we came out of turn 4 up the inside of Ben Rhodes, behind the 25 of Landon Castle, who joins that car truck this season, as we would cross the stripe, and Doug Barnes Jr. actually won stage 2 as well. So he won stage 1, he won stage 2, and we would continue on here in stage 3, 3 by 3 down this back straightaway here, and we would just kind of maintain this inside line and start moving forward. And now actually Tanner Gray would take the lead of this race. His brother Taylor Gray, of course, making his full-time Cup Series debut this season with the brand new team Tricon Racing in the number 55. But by the final 2 laps, we had worked our way up to 3rd, right behind Robusto, as a caution comes out with Kobe Howard leading, but I was on the bumper of the number 11 at the time of the caution, and we would get the infamous NASCAR Heat 5 bug, where if you're on the bumper of another car when a caution comes out, you're going to have the worst restart of your entire life to follow, and we would drop to 22nd by the time our truck got up to speed, and it was already the final lap coming to the finish, and Tanner Gray would get back to the lead and win the truck race here from Daytona to kick off season 5, putting himself in the Truck Series playoffs over Frankie Muniz, Colby Howard, Brendan Queen, Isabella Robusto, 2 rookies right there in the top 5. As P21 for us in one of our several starts that we'll be making this season, as it was Akinori Ogata who brought out that last caution there, setting up that restart. Now you see a look at the Canada Dry number 77 Northern Lights Camaro as we were ready to debut our brand new team, which is in collaboration with assistance or alliance from Junior Motorsports here, as it's a brand new era for this series and is no longer the NASCAR Xfinity Series. It is now the NASCAR Amazon Prime Series. As we head down towards turn number 1, you're going to see, of course, the Prime branding on a lot of the cars, unless I couldn't change a car like that 48 specifically. That 48 of Jade Buford, maybe someone in the comments can help me, but we're on season 5 and I still haven't found his file in the game files, so I haven't been able to change his car since the start of the career mode, and we would love to of course switch him out because he of course is no longer in the series. So I really cannot find his file anywhere, however, so it's weird, but nonetheless some new faces here. Chase Purdy actually in the 00. Trackhouse Racing expands to a second full-time car in the Xfinity Series. Sheldon Creed to Colleague Racing in the 16. Riley Herbst has stepped up to the number 2 for Richard Childress Racing. Daniel Suarez remains in the 99 Honda Civic there for Trackhouse now, as he's just behind the number 19, now full-time, not Ty Dillon anymore. That's Josh Balicki in that 19 car for JGR's. Sam Mayer wins stage number 1 for his new team, RFK Racing. We were P25, so obviously, some work to do to go forward. A bit of a rough start to the weekend as we were running great in the Truck Series, got the bad result. Dale Earnhardt Jr. was in the field this weekend as well, and the number 88 now, as we're to the inside of the number 10 of Kyle Weatherman here on this final lap of now stage 2. Only 3 laps here in the stage. Of course, we run shorter races for the lower series as we head down this front stretch. Only P16 as we were coming through to end the stage, and it's the number 32 getting the stage win. That's Anthony Alfredo. And as we came through to a little bit later on in this race, now in stage 3, unfortunately found myself stuck up on the outside, and well, once I got stuck up here, I struggled to go forward. Look at the number 23, surprise, surprise, Denny Hamlin in 2311's full-time entry for his full-time season. That's right, Denny Hamlin behind the wheel for a full-time Xfinity Series season in the number 23 McDonald's Toyota Supra for this season. So that is going to be really exciting, as I feel like I'm going to call it the Xfinity Series a lot as I continue to get used to it being now the Amazon Prime Series. So bear with me. I'm definitely going to call it Xfinity quite a few times before I get it down. But yeah, of course, the Amazon Prime Series here from Daytona, the 32 car of Anthony Alfredo continuing to lead the way as I finally got down to the inside, but we're down in 25th, and I would only get up to 18th by the time we come to the final, approaching at least the final lap. That's Tony Bradinger now full-time in the number 18 for Joe Gibbs Racing as we exit turn 4 down this front straightaway, and it's going to be 1 lap to go for the 32 stage 2 winner of Anthony Alfredo. Look how spread out they are up there in front of the pack. It's going to be a really weird finish, to say the least, as we are nearly back into the top 10 as we exit turn 4 down the front straightaway, and it's going to be Anthony Alfredo winning here in the season opening race for the Amazon Prime Series. How about that? He puts himself into the playoffs now over Connor Daly, finishing second there for Sam Hunt Racing. As you see the rest of the order, P11, that's our best finish to kick off this weekend, hopefully giving us a bit of positive momentum going into the Daytona 500, our first race with Junior Motorsports.
It's time for the Daytona 500. New drivers, schemes, a new Cadillac, and a new schedule to get used to this year, and it all starts right here. Defending 500 winner Gary Owen looks to win again with his new team driving the number 8 at Junior Motorsports.
Hey Gary, it's Dale. Just wanted to wish you good luck today. Have a fun race.
Yeah, thank you, Dale. Thank you, everybody, for this opportunity. Let's make the most of it. You hear us just getting a bit of a good luck wish from Dale Jr., our new team owner and boss, as Christopher Bell, defending champ now. Failed technical inspection starts season 5 from the back of the grid as we are ready to kick off this 5th full-time season as a junior motorsports driver in the Target 8 Cadillac. The Daytona 500 is underway. We are the defending champion of this race as Eckison as well as Chandler Smith lead the field to the green flag now as we'll get underway behind the number 51 of Ryan Preece here for this Rick Ware Racing team, a 2-car stable for full-time rides this season for this team, as well as he'll be alongside Josh Berry. But there's 3 Rick Ware cars in the field this weekend. That's because Brad Keselowski is actually driving the Rick Ware Racing number 52, so watch out for Keselowski. Recently retired from full-time Cup Series action behind the wheel here in Daytona of that 52 Rick Ware Racing Ford. It'll be interesting to see what he is capable of doing now as we're behind one of the brand new rookies full-time on the grid. Parker Retzlaff for the new team as well. GMS Racing splits off from collaboration with Legacy Motor Club and becomes their own for this season. Switches over to Cadillac as well as Tyler Reddick at the back of the grid here. We're talking about drivers in this brand new season that might be, looking for victory. And of course, Tyler Reddick's going to be one of them. He has been winless for over a season now. Another one that's in that column, Chris Buescher. He's been winless for an entire season as well. So it'll be interesting to specifically look at these two and see what they are capable of doing. Some driver moves, of course, that I'm excited to see. Specifically, Ryan Blaney heads over to 2311 Racing, replacing Bubba Wallace, who heads to Andretti Global, and you can see Bubba Wallace in that number 28 just on the front nose of Chris Buescher. But yeah, I'm going to be really excited to see what Ryan Blaney can do. Kyle Busch as well, as he's 3 wide in the middle going backwards. Alex Bowman in the Ally 19 headed to Joe Gibbs Racing, a second opportunity with a top tier ride in the Cup Series, of course replacing myself as we left. And SVG, winless last season, did make the playoffs. What can he do in that number 97 WeatherTech Honda Civic for Trackhouse Racing as they expand to 4 full-time cars this season as Connor Zilic joins alongside SVG, Kyle Busch, and Ross Chastain. He drives the number 00 Honda Civic as well, as we're up the inside already of our former teammate and outside pole winner. That's Chandler Smith. William Byron on the far outside, another driver who was winless last season. Taylor Gray, as we head down this front stretch, and that number 55 brand new team there with Tricon Racing. To be interesting to see how they do this season. The first 2 races, great opportunities for drivers to get themselves into the playoffs. And now last season we went to the real life kind of system where it's if you win you're in the playoffs. So this season it is still win and you're in, but with a slight change going back to what NASCAR used to use, and the more proper way. You have to be in the top 30 in the points to make the playoffs with a victory. So if you're 31st in the points or worse, you will not be in the playoffs even if you win a race. And I think that's the way it should be, just to kind of keep that playoff field a bit more competitive now. As we're in a line with our teammates now as the 6 of Eckes goes around, crash early on in stage 1. Eckes causes a big one. The big one strikes Carruth, Busch, as well as the 18, the 31, the 34, the 21, and in the 60 of Justin Haley, all involved. I had the biggest voice crack right there, and I'm sure you guys are going to let me know about that one as we are all going to come into the pits, and it's going to be day over already in the Season 5 Daytona 500 for Christian Eckes, replacing Brad Keselowski. Not the debut he was looking for, as a green flag is back out here, and it's less than 10 laps to go in stage number 1 on the rear bumper of another Cadillac. Richard Childress Racing, Austin Hill. Excited to see what Richard Childress Racing can do this season. Of course, Austin Dillon and Kevin Harvick in collaboration running this team now since Richard Childress stepped back from his duties. I'll be curious to see if they can step it up this season, because they were adamant they were going to pick up their performance about midway through last season, and it just never happened. They did win 1 race with Austin Hill at Talladega, so don't rule them out here. Jesse Love, it'll be very interesting to see if he can step it up, and as well, a new rookie driver who skips the Xfinity Series straight from the Truck Series, your truck champ from Season 4, Brent Cruz. So I'll be very intrigued to see what he is going to be able to do now as we're all over the back of Austin Hill. In the top 10, Kyle Larson on our outside, and that number 500cars.com Cadillac down this back straightaway, all over the back of that 3 Bennett Cadillac now as well. Joey Logano on that number 22. At one point last season, for about half the season, we thought he was retiring, and then turned his entire season around, and here he is back behind the wheel of that number 22 Ford Mustang as we come to lap 17 of 22 in the stage right now. Jesse Love leads. How about Connor Zilic up here 3 wide on the outside for Trackhouse now? Don't rule him out. One of 2 WeatherTech cars in the field today. Nick Sanchez up here in the mix for Andretti Global as well. Definitely got to pay attention to that number 26. That is solid up and down rookie season as Josh Berry would take the lead of this race for Rick Ware. But look at this behind us, 3 by 3 by 3. Meanwhile, we're pushing the 26 forward. Berry doesn't even try to cover it. To the inside we go, saying thank you very much. This will put us through into the second position. Crash! Rookie goes around. The 31 of Brent Cruz collects another rookie of Parker Retzlaff right at the back, and the caution flies just as we took second from the Rick Ware driver of Josh Berry. And the 31 is not going to be out of this race. He will continue on, and we will all stay outside of the 31 and get ready to go green. And it's only going to be 1 lap to go here in stage number 1, so Cruz is probably going to stay out at the end of the stage and cycle through to the lead of this race. But 1 lap sprint for the stage 1 victory here. Nick Sanchez, myself, the front row. We've clawed our way from 38th all the way up to 2nd place in about 22 laps. Ross Chastain got forced 3 wide by Jesse Love in his 2nd full-time season, getting aggressive right off the bat now, but that hurt me. It brought my lane far back, but Sanchez jumps up to the top. That opens the door for me. Hill backs out of it there to stay tucked in behind the 15 to Barry, who gets now covered off by the 26, who now Barry's going to jump up to the top. We're going to be committed to the back of the 15 as we roll through 3 and 4 for the final time in stage number 1. Look in the mirror. Here comes Christopher Bell. He started a spot behind me, and he's in the mix as well. Sanchez covers the top. We have to lift. Hill on the inside. Stage 1's going to go to Nick Sanchez for Andretti Global, and we are just barely going to get edged out by the 12 of Zane Smith, new driver at Penske Racing, for 4th. So we end up P5, getting some good stage points, and now we'll come back into the pits for tires as well as fuel. But overall, as you can imagine, pretty happy with where the car is at. So Brent Cruz is in fact staying out. He'll be the leader, and we actually gained a spot, allowing us to now restart again, still P5 on the inside, as we were able to overtake the 12 of Zane Smith. Stage 2 of the Daytona 500 underway here now as the number 31 Bass Pro Shops Chevrolet Cadillac is leading in front of his teammate of Austin Hill and their other teammate Jesse Love, just in line behind myself. But Cadillac's 1, 2, 3, 4 on the inside here now, and then you got as well Josh Berry getting forced out 3 wide to the outside behind us, and anytime that happens on a restart, it just destroys that outside line. You see it right there with Sanchez going backwards. So we're going to stay in line here with the number 3 of Austin Hill. Here comes Sanchez though with a run. Cruz now under attack from his teammate of Austin Hill is oh so good when it comes to these plate tracks now. Super Speedways, of course, is bread and butter, and he has 1 Cup Series win under his belt, and it was a Super Speedway, as we mentioned earlier, with Talladega. Now, as we're just going to continue to follow this 3, here comes Jesse Love, Connor Zilic as well. Jesse Love, Connor Zilic, both great friends in real life, now find themselves in their 2nd full-time campaigns as we head down into turn 1, right tucked in behind that number 3 of Hill, who's in control of this race, but just kind of testing out the runs that we can get in this target number 8. And Hill actually is going to jump all the way up to the outside, not even interested in trying to cover us off. And here comes the 33. He's going to give us a shot to the bumper, and that's going to get me to the inside of Austin Hill into turn number 3. Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s number 8 owned Cadillac to the front as we exit turn 4, and we're going to lead our first laps as a junior motorsports driver on the front nose of Jesse Love, who backs off. Connor Zilic in 3rd there, and Zilic would actually jump up to the outside. There was 3 lanes working right now. Actually, I say 3 lanes, but it's 1 car on that 3rd lane. It's a 3. Here comes the Trackhouse Honda of Zilic. As we come through the tri-oval, we barely beat him for the lap. Led 16 laps to go in stage 2, and here comes the 31 as well. Brent Cruz, all of Richard Childress Racing in the top 5 currently, as we head down into turn 1. Zilic gets clear, and now he's going to leave a lane open. We fight back to the inside now as we exit turn 2 down this back straightaway, saying thank you very much, 00 there, as we'll cycle back through to the lead. But it's going to be a tough fight here with Zilic, who would come clawing back again with help from the 31 of Brent Cruz, who's going to lead the lap. It's going to be Zilic there at the line with 15 laps to go in stage 2, but doing everything that we currently need to be doing. But Zilic showing right off the bat, he's got some serious pace in that 00, because he's able to kind of blow past me on that outside and get clear and jump down. And now he was actually covering it off a little bit, but now he's going to leave a lane open, but I don't have any help. And if you're going to pass somebody here in Daytona, I can't do it where I'm at right now. I need help. And speaking of help, fortunately, the AI can be really stupid and do that. They just jump up to the outside for no given reason, and I get the help I need to go back to the lead of this race. Zilic's going to drop back, but the question is, can he fight back one more time as we exit turn 4 in the lead of this race? I would not be surprised to see that 00 come back at us, and there it is, with help again from the 31 of Brent Cruz. Connor Zilic is back for the lead of this Daytona 500. He'll jump back down again in front of us for position, and now he continues to cover us off until he doesn't, basically. And as we start lap 8 into turn 1, he again leaves the door open. He's going to be in line again with the 31 of Brent Cruz, so you have to wonder if they're going to continue to orchestrate that same kind of run that they've been orchestrating so far, as now back to the point here. But you can see they were battling behind us. Todd Gilliland in the number 2 now coming through on the 33 of Jesse Love. He'll move through into second. Now they're 3 by 3 behind us, fighting hard. Who's going to help us? No one right now. The 33 and the 00 side by side, 3 wide for the lead as we cross the stripe with 11 laps to go in the second stage. Now help from the 2 of Todd Gilliland, but he would actually get shuffled up to the middle, and Tyler Reddick would take his place, but Reddick was refusing to push me, and you can see the difference it makes. There goes the 33. Here comes through the 2 of Gilliland as well, the 00 of Zilic, and now finally the 45 is going to commit to my back bumper, but a little bit too late. We dropped down to P5, but great racing here in Daytona in stage 2. Been absolutely fantastic. Some back and forth, some 3 wide as well. It's been some fantastic racing to kick off this season 5. Now as we head down this back straightaway, still got help from the number 45 Monster Beast Toyota Camry. And as we came out of turn 4, now Gilliland to the lead as the 33 ran the outside. And again, I'm back through into second place with an opportunity to maybe take the lead here, but it's not going to be long until we see green flag pit stops as well. So that's something to keep in mind. Right on the back of the 2, waiting for the right opportunity to make a move. We're going to get help again from this 45, but still not quite close enough yet to actually make a lunge at this generator Ford Mustang for Penske Racing. Gilliland in his second season for Penske Racing. Here's a good run. I like what we got right here as we're shaping up to make a move to the inside. Left rear quarter panel, we're going to pull him back now. Thank you very much to the lead of the Daytona 500 as we continue to look to defend our Daytona 500 victory from Season 4 with Joe Gibbs Racing, where we barely edged out the number 31 of Alex Bowman for that victory that day now. And sure enough, one season later, fast forward, he drives the car that beat him for that Daytona 500 victory. Now Reddick would move up the track, and now Zane Smith to his inside, and Zane Smith actually, he's going to pit, and several drivers are going to pit, including Connor Zilic and a few others, and that completely ruined my momentum. Reddick goes through, Gilliland goes through, Chandler Smith as well to my outside. Here comes Corey Heim, a driver we expect to see a lot more performance out of this season for him behind the wheel of that number 11, his 3rd full-time season, of course, in the Cup Series, and 2nd with 2311. Now as everybody's pitting as we exit turn 4, and that will include myself as we get down onto the apron. Not everybody actually. Smith, Love, and a few others stay on the racetrack as Bowman kind of uses us up. We're 3 wide on the outside entering the pits, but we're well within the pit speed now as we'll come in and make the 4 tire change. So left side's off the car. Now as we got trouble, Connor Zilic crashing on his own in turn 3. Big impact there. Caution comes out, and that's going to end the stage. Stage 2 is going to end under caution. The field's frozen. I think we were top 10, but we were in position to maybe win the stage, and now it's P7. Not exactly what we're looking for. William Byron, Ty Dillon, just in front of us, my teammate of Hocevar in P9. Who won the stage is the question. Chandler Smith wins the stage over Austin Cindric, part-time for Wood Brothers Racing. Jesse Love, Sammy Smith, Byron, all in the top 5. Chastain P10, rounding out that top 10. But we're the first driver that doesn't have to pit So, therefore, obviously, that means we're going to cycle out to the lead as Brent Cruz will get the free pass as well. Austin Hill and Rajah Caruth both got the short end of the stick there by pitting a little bit earlier than everybody else. They went a lap down as suddenly Stage 3 is underway, and we are back in control of this Daytona 500 with my teammate of Carson Hocevar just behind myself. 26 laps remain here from this Daytona 500. What a race it's been so far, and now the question is, how is it going to end here? Now, we've seen some surprise winners in the past. You know, you think about Corey LaJoie, won the first race for Andretti Global here a few seasons back, and then of course ended up going to Hendrick Motorsports after that for a season. We've seen Rick Ware Racing pick up the win in this race. It's anybody can win this race. We saw Todd Gilliland win this race as well, don't forget. So anything can happen. Front Row Motorsports, as well as Rick Ware Racing and Andretti Global, teams that aren't usually running up front, have all won this race in the past. That 34 Loves car of Gilliland was the most recent winner before us. As we continue through this tri-oval, now 25 laps to go here as we exit turn 2. Still got my teammate of Carson Hocevar in line behind myself. Actually, Hocevar's hung us out as we head down this back straightaway. That caught me completely off guard. I didn't really look in the mirror, and I just really thought he was in line with me. Completely wrong, and that cost us, but I'm not too concerned. We maintain a top 6, top 7 running spot. We're 3 wide with our teammate of Noah Gregson. Nick Sanchez was on the far outside there as we head down this front stretch. Ryan Blaney, 3 wins last season in it. That number 12 for Penske Racing. Here he is with this brand new team, now looking for more as he heads down into turn number 1. And if Ryan Blaney had stayed at Penske Racing coming into the season, there's a way more likely chance that Joey Logano did not return to Penske, and he would have kind of fulfilled his retirement. But of course, Penske wanted Logano to stay after Blaney said, hey, I'm out of here, to make it a little bit easier for Penske. They didn't want to lose 2 drivers in the offseason. So Blaney hits at 23.11. Logano sticks around for at least 1 more year. Wouldn't be surprised if we see him stick around for longer now, as we're back to the front here of Chris Buescher on our outside. But to the lead of the Daytona 500 we go. Once again, with the target flames on this number 8 Cadillac down this back straightaway. We would love to put Cadillac in victory lane in their first race in the NASCAR Cup Series, but we're 3 wide for the lead. Your Season 3 champ, former teammate Ty Gibbs, who missed the Final 4 last season by 1 single point to the eventual champion of Christopher Bell. He's here in the mix, as well as Chris Buescher. We're still 3 wide on the exit of turn 4. I have help from the 98 of Chase Briscoe, 2 wins last season for Briscoe. Most recently won at Auto Club in the final race for that speedway. Before now we head to Denver Motor Speedway, which replaces that track this season. Of course, 2 new tracks on the schedule, being Denver, as well as we have the Nashville Super Speedways that throw a bit of a questionable block on that number 98 Mahindra Ford. Surely Briscoe's not going to be impressed with that one now, as I really stacked up that middle lane now, is side by side with Carson Hocevar. Logano tucked in behind myself as we exit turn 2, and again to the inside of the Advanced Auto Parts Toyota Camry for 2311 Racing of Ryan Blaney. Now we're side by side for second place now as we head down this back straightaway and ascend to the outside wall. Connor Zilic has blown a tire, and the caution is out. The second caution for cause for Zilic so far in this race. You have to wonder if it's going to be the end of the day for the 00 Trackhouse Honda, and only 1 driver is going to pit outside of Zilic. We are going to stay on the racetrack, because if we pit now, we still can't make it to the end of the race. So we all elect pretty much to stay on this racetrack now as we go back racing again. It's going to be 16 laps to go in this race here from the Season 5 Daytona 500. Who's got more in the tank here now? Wheel to wheel with the number 17 Fastenal Ford Mustang for Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing of Chris Buescher. We have about 7 laps of field, so we're not going to be on this racetrack for too long before we find ourselves pitting. So it's going to be interesting, because that likely means we will get a green flag pit stop cycle. So it'll be really just mainly interesting to see, the groups that decide to pit, over the course of the few laps that the green flag pit stops are happening for, as I get a push from that 22 of Joey Logano, two-time champion from 2018 and 2022, as we exit turn 4 with help from that 22. Had to lift a little bit on the exit of 4 there, and unfortunately Logano lifts off me now that I'm leading as we come through this tri-oval at the line. A dead even fight with this number 17 with 15 laps to go, but now he's clear with help from the 23 of Blaney, and unfortunately he's stuck on this outside and is starting to go backwards. But now Busher jumps back up to the outside. Now he's kind of going all over the place. He can't really seem to decide where he wants to go, but he would eventually commit to the top, and that opens the door wide open for Ryan Blaney in that 23 to the inside. And there's my teammate of Carson Hocevar in the number 4 on my inside. Won one race last season in this number 8, actually at Mid-Ohio. Of course, a bit of a wild set of circumstances that allowed him to pick up that win, but nonetheless, he won the race and now has 2 wins to his Cup Series career as we head down this bank straightaway towards turn number 3, tucked in behind that 17 of Chris Busher. Now Hocevar now to the inside of Blaney for the lead with help from Briscoe and Gibbs. Eric Jones into the mix. We talked about FRM and Jones a lot last season and how much they've been continuing to improve, and now as well Eric Jones is the lone driver on that team. They are a 1-car operation, but they will have a part-time car throughout the season, but now focusing full-time on just 1 car, as I expect to see some drivers pit this lap, including my teammate and leader Carson Hocevar. You see him showing his riding right on that apron as we roll through 3 out of turn 4, and Hocevar as well as Gilliland, Chastain and others are all going to come into the pits now, and that kind of sends everybody kind of sporadically across the track there for a brief second, trying to get back get their bearings straight now. And as we roll through 3 and out of turn 4 on lap 60, coming to 10 to go, more pitters. I couldn't pit. We're stuck on the outside, so we're going to have to run one more lap, which we do have enough fuel for, as we're actually running down the 48, who pitted all on his own. Carruth not kicking off his second full-time season necessarily in the manner he would like to. Of course, won Rookie of the Year in Season 4. Sammy Smith to the inside of the 55 now as they hit the brakes in front of us now, and we've got some problems in front of us with the 48 and the 31, and now the 31, or the 48 and the 31 is going to back up the 27. Gregson behind us, I believe, has just run out of fuel. He's definitely out of fuel, and all of a sudden chaos is striking with 10 to go as we go into turn 3. We go to the lead of this race in front of the 31 of Brent Cruz, and we are pitting this time. If you don't pit this time, you're not going to make it back around, and Sammy Smith is stuck on the outside with the 48. He's going to go around and take the lead of this race as we dive into the pit lane now, as we got problems, multiple cars crashing. The 16, the 3, a heavy impact. Kyle Busch as well as Elliott gets a piece of it, and the caution flies just as we were hitting the pit lane, and we're going to take tires, and I would end up making a mistake right here and just simply not paying attention. So I thought we were okay to just stay out, and I didn't realize I was still making a pit stop after I made my pit stop, and eventually that happens. We pitted at the perfect time and now end up at the back of the grid because I accidentally leave the option to pit on. Not the first time I've made that mistake, and probably not the last time I make that mistake, but it's going to be a crucial mistake because we have 6 laps to go, and that's quite simply not going to be enough time to get back to the front of this race. So I believe we would have been probably leading if we didn't make that error to kick off this restart. So that is a very crucial mistake, and it's kind of been a weekend that hasn't quite gone in the manner that we would hope. The Truck Series race, we were up front, had some bad luck with a bug, and that put us outside the top 10. Xfinity Series, nothing really went wrong, but we got stuck on the outside and couldn't go anywhere, and ended up having a pretty, not great result there as well. And now here, in the Cup Series side of things, also made a mistake, and it's going to cost us greatly now as we're behind the 27 of Sammy Smith. A lot of cars back here that have been running up front, all because of the timing of the caution and whatnot. Chris Busher as well included in that conversation. Ryan Blaney, we were seeing both of those guys running up front earlier in this race as we head down this back straightaway now, and Parker Retzlaff coming up behind me. We only got 5 to go and we haven't gone anywhere. I'm struggling here on this inside line. Here comes Retzlaff for GMS, one of, like I said, Rookie of the Year contenders who I think can maybe surprise some people and maybe win Rookie of the Year. Now as we go to the inside of the number 5 as we exit turn 4, Larson not having a great Daytona 500, but now slowly picking our way forward into 31st. Now really just looking for anything I can find, so I actually jumped 3 wide to the middle. Eric Jones in the 34 to the lead of this Daytona 500, coming to 3 laps to go, as now we just have nowhere to go. We're stuck in the middle now at this point. Here comes Retzlaff trying to fill that inside gap now, and we're going to just commit to it and hope for the best. We got help from the 23 of Ryan Blaney as we come through this tri-oval. William Byron on my outside in that Exalta Cadillac down this front stretch now. Heading down into turn 1, still looking for an opportunity to get down to the inside. Jones continues to lead this race now. Here's the opportunity to jump down, but unfortunately we don't really gain anything until turn 3 when I dive one up the inside of the 17, and at this point it's obvious that we're not going to be in contention to win this Daytona 500 like I had hoped we would be as we approach 2 laps to go. Eric Jones continues to lead. I look to the inside, 3 wide with the 27, 2 to go for the 34 of Eric Jones, and as we head down this back straightaway with a lap and a half to go, we continue to try and force the issue here to the inside of Corey Heim, as well as the 1 of Ross Chastain, a draft from the 99 of Kyle Busch, and it's Eric Jones leading out of turn 4, coming to the final lap. Ty Gibbs has joined the equation. Don't rule out that Monster Energy 54 for Joe Gibbs Racing as we come through this tri-oval. White flag in the air for this Daytona 500 to kick off season 5, having to kind of just overcorrect there to get to the inside of the 31. SVG there in P20 just in front of us now, but it's still the 34 of Jones leading. Is he going to pull this off? Ty Gibbs is in second. Alex Bowman's in third. Down this back straightaway for the final time. Kyle Busch, SVG, right in front of us. Bubba Wallace as well. Up there behind Josh Berry. Glued to the back bumper of this 99 Trackhouse Honda. And Gibbs has moved up to the outside. He's got his teammate Bowman pushing him. Is it going to be enough to dethrone the 34 of Eric Jones, who leads down this front straightaway one final time? JGR second, third, fourth, but it's not going to be enough. Eric Jones in Front Row Motorsports wins the Season 5 Daytona 500. Unbelievable. We talked about that team, and now they've put themselves in victory lane over Gibbs, Bowman, and Chandler Smith. Joe Gibbs Racing second, third, and fourth. Unbelievable, as it's going to be Jones in the playoffs for Front Row Motorsports, assuming that team ends up in the top 30 in the standings. It's P19 for us, not what we wanted, and we ran better than that, just didn't quite work out. Nick Sanchez with a great result as well. Fastest lap point is now a thing this season, and we actually got the fastest lap of this race, so that's one bonus point to myself. But nonetheless, that's going to wrap it up for me, and I'll see you guys in round 2 for Season 5 from Atlanta Motor Speedway next episode. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.